Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Smock here, and joining me again is Punk User. We are looking at game number 5 here of Myth World Cup 2011. I'm very excited to see this match. We saw an epic one in game 2 coming down to the wire. Very exciting. If you've not watched that, go watch it now. And yeah, if you don't know what this game is, Myth2 is pretty awesome. It's old, but it is still amazing, and so you should check it out. Go to projectmagma.net and check it out. Like I said, this is Mock here, Punk User. What's going on?
Yeah, not much. Speaking of old, this map is about as old as it gets. I can't think of anything more classic than Trow Terry's on this map. Sorry, on Trow. But yeah, and so I mean, unfortunately, at this point, the unit trading strategies have stagnated somewhat. There's no, I don't think I've ever seen anyone trade for anything other than 5 Trow. But it looks like we got a little bit of variation on whether people are going for warlocks or melee and stuff like that. Team Zanga has traded for, looks like, no mortars, no warlocks, and almost no soulless. So they might be going a rush strategy. It's hard to say. Whereas R3 has a little bit more typical trade with a few soulless, useful for harassing Trow, and some warlocks for dealing with the melee mob. So we'll see how this plays out.
So is the goal here, yeah, I guess we'll introduce the teams. We have R3 over here in the white, and then we have this ugly pink color again. Zanga over here in that, which is in the east side of the map, I suppose. It is territory, so I believe at the end of the game, whoever holds the most flags wins. I believe that's how it works.
Yep, that's right. And if anyone at any point ever owns all the flags, they instantly win the game.
Okay. So basically with this rush strategy, you're saying they just kind of want to mob these Trow? Because I mean, not taking any soulless at this point, which are pretty good at sniping Trow.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. Well, they have 4 soulless, but basically none. What's a little bit more surprising is no warlocks, no mortars, because it usually turns into a bit of a back and forth fight in the middle here. But looks like they might just be trying their luck on a rush. So we'll see. Looks like the majority of their forces are going mid here versus splitting them up between all 3. But the same is true for R3. So I imagine Carnage will follow soon.
As it always does in this game. And going over the lineups quickly. Oh, we got warlock action already. Putting out a fireball. Flag captured. Going to push them back a bit. We've got some Trow rushing in here, kicking the crap out of that Mercuridia. So first blood going down here in the middle. These guys are going to tank this warlock shot. Like boss is not going to do too much though. And as you can see, Team Zanga has taken all 3 of their flags thus far and are pushing forward in the north here towards this top flag.
Yeah, for people who aren't really familiar with Myth and how trades like this work, Trow are basically take very minimal damage from warlocks there. So I mean, this is, you don't really even worry about dodging them. In fact, you normally use your Trow to block warlock shots from getting to your melee, which actually take a fair amount of damage from it. So normally you have a bit of a back and forth skitter in the middle with warlocks trying to shoot around the other people's Trow and take out the other warlocks and so forth. But at the moment, like I said, one team has no warlocks, so a bit of a unique strategy there. Seems like they're trying to flank from the top too.
Yeah, these Trow are just going to sit here and take the shots from the soulless. It's kind of interesting to me why they're doing that. But in the meantime, R3 is kind of just grouped up all together in the middle here. Are you a little surprised that they're not separating more, or what?
I don't know whether they expected that rush to happen or whether they just sort of got lucky there. They're in a bit of a precarious situation in that the other team has all 5 flags, so you know, if they did somehow lose that flag, they would lose the game right away. So they have to defend this flag now. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Zanga tries to. Okay, that almost answers the question. Whether they try to push in and take this last flag, or whether they just try to sit it out. But oh man, I can't imagine with all the damage they're taking from the soulless, they really want to play the waiting game.
They are playing extremely aggressive here, and I don't know if they're gonna have enough to take it out. But the Trow are in there in the middle of it all, kicking Mercuridia, and here come the Maul as well, coming in to take it. But they are taking a lot of shots here from the soulless. But it looks like they might have enough here to overwhelm. But the Trow are gonna come in to assist, because if they get this last flag like you're talking about, they are going to lose this game.
Yeah, they unfortunately they just didn't do enough damage to R3's Trow. Their Trow are almost basically at full health. So I think that pretty much seals it. That I would consider that rush a failure there, in that they sat there. They just took too much damage from the Solus sitting on the hill there, and they didn't have as many Trow, and they weren't as coordinated. So.
Yep, so as you can see now, we are at 13% only for Zanga
Well, that
against
didn't work.
50%
Yeah.
of R3. That didn't work. Thanks.
Bit of an understatement. Yeah, this is just going to turn into a running around capping game at this point, and unless something bizarre happens, Rat King's just going to split his 3 Trow and go cap all the rest. So.
Well, I guess that worked out for them, the strategy
Flag
there.
captured.
R3 putting up a good defense at the middle.
I wonder how it would have fared if Zanga hadn't been so aggressive, just rushing in there, but hard to say.
But I mean, that's totally the strategy they were going for at the beginning, just from their picks. So.
Yep, definitely true. Yeah, I mean, if you trade for no artillery units, then you have to rush, right? I mean, you can't sit around.
Look at all this carnage in the middle. Oh, it's just good stuff. Anyway.
It's just good myth there, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. I absolutely love Solus. They're like my favorite units.
Flag
I must
captured.
agree, they're really cool. They're really neat design.
Flag contested.
Oh, Mr. McCurdia. He's just gonna sit there and die very, very slowly. Slow, painful death. As you can see, we've got the 4 Solus from Zanga gonna be sitting up here at their top flag. But yeah, that's just a matter of time now.
I mean, given that if they could maintain a point by holding that
flag,
you know, if it was point based like in the finals or whatever, or you know, in other rounds, then I could imagine them just sitting there. But given that there's 6 minutes left and it doesn't even matter if they hold that one flag, I mean, they might as well suicide at this point. But that's fine if they want to play it out.
I don't know, man. This McCurdia could be a boss. Why don't the McCurdia have names?
They're They're mindless
just called
beasts.
McCurdia.
Yeah, man.
Well, they could at least have like numbers or something.
No. They're the forces of the undead. None of the other ones have it either. Oh, I guess the mole has a name. But soulless, you know? You can't have a name when you don't have a soul.
Okay, whenever I played this game, I was just obsessed with naming things, so it makes me sad when things don't have names.
Flag contested.
So we got the Trow here coming in for the last flag. Looks like they will just forfeit. That's good. At least it won't make us wait out.
Flag
so nicely
captured.
played there from R3. Kind of a weird strategy at the beginning, I suppose, but they went all in, basically stayed together, played very well, put up some good D, and brought out the big W.
It's in basketball.
So, what are your final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of unfortunately a little bit of a boring game, but that's what happens, you know, you rush, you either win or you lose, so I was interested to see him try a bit of a different strategy, so.
Alright, so R3 is going to take this final game here. Thank you again for watching. Thank you, Punk User, for joining me, and we will catch you guys very soon.